And we're back with some Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And we're finally on the last part of the last case, I believe. Where the chief prosecutor, Lana Sky, is being accused of murder, just like the other streams. And then we recently learned that Emma accidentally killed somebody, but it was by pure accident and technically in self-defense. Thought about like table setup before. Alright, well, this is fine. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Alright, turn these speakers down a little bit. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Ah, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And the top of it, you call me here. I've seen up here people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was just talking about this the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? He said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forced evidence you're unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused the man's death. Technically in self-defense. And now you're telling me you'd want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're gonna expose him. No matter what it takes. And we're gonna get him canceled and thrown in jail. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Don't give a shit, Your Honor. Yes, well... normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. Dying. This isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just that everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will... What? You know what? Let's go back on that, because, yeah, broken mouse here. No, wait a second, detective, get back here. What the hell you got me running around all crazy willy-nilly for? I struck a bargain. Think I may have manipulated the witnesses. A solution. The prosecution will allow the defense to call all further witnesses. That's what you're supposed to say. Alright. A little unorthodox, but sure. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. No, of course not. There's never been a precedent for anything. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Okay, that's actually a fair point. Now that he puts it that way. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Like, the next witness we're supposed to call anyway, right? Because, like, everyone we've talked to, well, except for him, we don't know shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've talked to... No, we haven't talked to everybody twice, right?
Take that!
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Where are they? Are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with a grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made rather pretty clear. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Quote unquote? What are you trying to say here? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went into my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Doc was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seemed Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Drake and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Scott, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. Was this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though. Okay, that's kind of suspect, sir. It's not funny at all. For once, I agree with the video game. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. You're a liar. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are excusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. Taking a picture will last longer, I'm sure. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy. Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I got to link Gant to this incident. So it had nothing to do with it, right? So what's up with the jar? Because why did he have the why did he have the missing piece to this? You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up, sir. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badge that you showed us earlier. Moving on. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence as I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Kent, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in this illegal investigation. Chief Kent, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with it? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Just as your dick will receive his due punishment. If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. That'd be rather sad. That would be fucked up. Oh well. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Regarding the crime scene, rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand I'm the chief of the police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh. Indeed, I believe I won't press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Haji. In return, though. I know, that place, right? Are these guys telepathic? But what would I gain from forging evidence or planting evidence in your office when I could just, you know, make it? If I really was going to, like, fake this shit super hard, right? I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cow ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? He went cow tipping. That's awesome. Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, it would prove his investigation was illegal. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy, and I'm a lawyer.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
Objection!
If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, righto. It all depends on the when the evidence was discovered.
Hold it!
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. So, this man is telling us that every single piece is was listed as one individual piece of evidence. Cool. But as it stands, it's the entire jar that was reported, so I think that's where this guy fucks up. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Objection!
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so as long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Sky. Well, now, do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position that you have, Chief of Police. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured for promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only three people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Oh gee, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Whoops. That was supposed to be a right click, not a left. Gant isn't the one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall 2 years ago. Yet I know he played a part in the forgery. That can only mean someone asked him to be an accomplice. Damon Gant, someone's accomplice. That sounds unlikely. Sounds like it. nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, well. That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? True, you may not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. It's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Who else? His partner.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 after the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh wait, you mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding? Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me tell you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying I've done such a thing? She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that's also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order, order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in a law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. It's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth had said in an easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us his evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. You went in the fucking... You went in the room. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was indeed 7 sevens. The same number as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. That's the difference. I can go anywhere I want. What? Okay, that's kind of random, but... What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana's guy's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us the proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. He lost his card. Can only be submitted to the chief of police, right? So you gotta give this to him. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. You would have to get that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if you filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way for the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have some... Sorry, but that's not possible. Fucking double-clicking mouse. According to the report, your card was only used once. You showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Whoa, that was sick. But Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have the entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was just a useless clue taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Because why do we have this? This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's this? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What was this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Whitman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you ask Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order, what is going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gunt, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Wright, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, you show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of this body? I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Aji? In that case, the court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Edgy, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't had yet the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls for Lana Sky because she hasn't said anything. We've only talked to her outside of the courtroom, so... The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. This ain't good, Lana. Talking to Lana. Of course. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Wow, ballsy. Right in front of everybody, just gonna straight up blackmail you. Cool. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay. If there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. It looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pal? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, don't worry. I already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that thumbnail ago you used to work with. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How does it always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. It is not a right to be casually involved. There are certain risks to be considered. What risks? What did he mean by that? So if he refuses to testify, he's not allowed to, like, Don't tell me he's, like, not allowed to be like, okay, I want to fucking talk now? Once he says no, he doesn't want to talk, he's not allowed to talk? Is that what is going on? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost somehow feel relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. But think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. You're just a product of your environment. It's not your fault you're a fucking cold-blooded killer, little girl. As long as you know in your heart that it was a wrong thing to do, you'll be fine. Chief Gam may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Mr. Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued. And then, for now, we're not going to call it, I'm going to finish this game. So